first leg of the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So as Ali was saying, the second leg takes place next Wednesday. So I'm still thankfully joined in the studio by David, Trevor and Shaun. So David, 1-0 on the night. How did you make that? What did you make of that second half?
Well, I think the second half started similar to the first half. Substitutions. Phil Foden comes on and all of a sudden the game, I thought, changed. Then that relationship with KDB once again for the goal, superb. And I mean, the City deserved to win the game. There wasn't a question about that. It would have been nice to have those 4 goals, which I predicted beforehand. But in the end, it's 1-0. And we were just saying now before we went on air, you know, the second leg in Madrid, there's no reason for Man City to be scared of Atletico after what they've done to them today.
Is 1-0 a fair result on the night, do you think, Trev?
I think we should have won 2-0. I think you look at Kevin De Bruyne's chance, how the game kind of opened up towards the end, especially after we made our 3 changes. I think it's great management from Guardiola to change all 3 forwards. So you had one group of forwards who've played 60 minutes, the other group who've played 30 minutes. I think it was part of the strategy before the game. Play an hour, we'll change it, fresh legs, open them up, exactly how it happened. I think Kevin De Bruyne was superb throughout the night, out of possession and in possession. He'll be disappointed that he didn't get 2.
Yeah, so the second half started really well for Kev. 54 minutes, there was a great save from a free kick of his, and then he just built up throughout the half. Was he your man of the match?
He was, yeah. I mean, not even for what he did in possession. It was more for what he did out of possession. I think he leads the team from the middle of the park. You know, he's the catalyst. When he starts going aggressively to win the ball back, everyone gets in behind him, because you can imagine if he goes to press and then the next one goes and then someone doesn't go, they're getting a dressing down from all the players. The manager doesn't have to do anything. So on that side of things, I think out of possession, he really is our catalyst, but in possession, you know, scoring the winning goal. It was a great slip ball by Phil Foden, but all in all, he leads that group of players, and you can see that he really wants to win this tournament.
So the second half, Shaun, in 60 minutes, Atletico Madrid bring on 3 changes. So 3 substitutions for them. At the time, I was asking you, is this tactical? What is it? But you thought it was just a case of fresh legs for them.
Yeah, I still think that. I think we all 3 of us made it clear we think that Grealish and Foden will be the ones to kind of unlock this stubborn setup that they had going. And I think the timing of the subs was perfect, in my opinion. I think, like Trev said, they played their 60 minutes, they run as hard as they can, and then we kept the ball so well that players were tired. So when we bring on the fresh legs, they can get to work. And I think Foden's guile and cuteness, always wanting to be dangerous, creates that opportunity. And Kevin knows that, which is why he makes that third man run, and the weight of the pass was perfect as well.
So they made 3 changes. A few minutes later, we make the 3 changes. Foden, Grealish and Jesus. 1 minute and 19 seconds, David, is all Phil Foden needed to make a difference.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying at half-time. And the thing with Phil Foden is he moves a lot more than Gundogan. Gundogan is a terrific player. But Phil Foden is just, for some reason, he sees the game slightly differently. He opens up space. And when you look at the goal, he picks up into a position, as you say, Kevin De Bruyne making the run, and then the little jink and pass. I mean, superb. There's other times as well where he's making runs and he's taking players out of position, whereas Gundogan, I think in that first half, and City's problem was that everyone was kind of waiting around the box, not allowing that space to be open, which we talked about at half-time. And we love Phil Foden.
I think with Phil, I don't think people realise how quick he is. You know, his balance is great, we know that, but his change of pace, you know, there's not many players who have both attributes where they've got that change of pace, but they've also got that guile. This young man used to, oh, he's not so young anymore, but he was one of the players that had that, where you've got pace to go by players, but you've also got that technical ability to slip players in, and Phil did that. But leading up to that, Grealish was involved. He won the free kick on the left-hand side. So both two players who came on had an impact pretty much immediately. It's won us the game. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit more comfortable because they have to come out and try and get back in this game. And as they do, they'll leave gaps, and I think we'll threaten and punish them that way.
Poor Jack Grealish, he came on, Shaun, and within about 2 minutes he'd already been hacked down for the first card of the game. Like, sometimes the guy must think, come on. Yeah, and it's the way he plays. I think if you look at all the other players, this 1 touch, 2 touch, they get rid of it, where Jack would take a touch. Because he's big enough to hold people off, he'll put his arm out, and normally he gets kicked, but with a calf like that, it's fine. He should be able to take it.
To be fair, he's too good looking anyway, so he probably needs a couple of licks in his head.
There was a tasty bit when he was fouled again a little bit later on as well, David, and it was on the sideline, and we saw Pep getting involved, and then we saw Simeone getting involved, and there was a few players coming round, showing the passion from everybody.
Yeah, and it was almost role reversal, wasn't it? I think you were all only expecting it from Atletico, but again, when Jack comes on, he was drawing fouls, and that's not something that we've seen so often in the Premier League. For some reason, maybe the Premier League's a little bit wiser, and this referee wasn't so aware of Jack's play. Ironically, when Jack actually wasn't fouled, or he was fouled, he got the free kick against him late on in there. But yeah, Pep can mix it as well, I think.
So I was referring to Kevin before the game as Big Game Kev. Big Game Kev. 6 goals, 5 assists in his last 12 knockout stage games, Trevor. He just loves the big, he's good at all games, of course, as Shaun said, but he just seems to love this big stage.
But I think the certain players, the bigger the game, the more they step up to the plate. And he really, you could see he wanted to be the star player. Out of possession, his work rate, his intensity, but in possession as well, his quality. He's always looking to break lines with running off the ball, not just on the ball. We talk about players who are good with the ball at the feet. Some of the players with the ball at the feet, they look so good because other players make runs and open up spaces so they can pick these passes out. So yeah, no, he's a good, big game player, as you can see. But his performance tonight, I think it deserved 2 goals, and he'll look back at that game and he'll be disappointed with at least that second chance where who was it who pulled it back for him?
Foden. Bernardo
pulled it back. Yeah, he'll be disappointed. Just needed to get more contact on it. Just rushed it a little bit, but again, we either get the goal or we learn from that situation next time a little bit more composed.
So the next leg, Shaun, is next Wednesday. Do you think we're going to have learned anything from this game about Atleti?
Yeah, I don't think they'll play the same there at home, but I think they won't be worried. After watching 90 minutes, even when they made the subs, it didn't really threaten the defence at all, and that was without Diaz and without Walker, and that was with Cancelo on the right rather than the left. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up, but I don't think City have any reason to be worried.
Do you think we will start Foden and Grealish in that game, David, or how do you think we might set up in that second leg?
It's interesting as to the guys here talking, because I think we did mention this when we were watching the game, whether Simeone's idea was, I think you might mention at half-time, Trev, just basically nullify the game, then make the subs and make it, because the 3 subs they put on were attack-minded subs. I think they were more attacking than the players they took off. So I anticipate that, and again, I'm trying to put myself in Pep's head here, that Atletico will go the same way in the second leg, because as much as they're 1-0 down, they can be 1-0 down with 80 minutes to go. They only still need 1 goal to equalise. So I don't think they're going to be as rash as they possibly were towards the end of that game, or trying to be that rash, and therefore Man City don't need to necessarily attack them as much. It's a difficult one to work out.
I think you've got to listen as well. You've got the game on Sunday, so it depends who comes out of that game unscathed, who plays well, who has a disappointing game maybe, and see how the confidence is after that game. But I think if that game goes well, I can see the same kind of game plan as tonight. Start with a team. It might be the ending team there, and then change it to the starting team today. So they might just, again, rotating players, keeping everyone fresh, keeping everyone hungry and feeling important. And if he does that, it's going to be a good April and hopefully a good end to the year.
In terms of their game plan, Shaun, do you think they're going home relatively pleased? They managed to contain us for most of the game. Do you think 1-0 is okay for them?
Yeah, it's a bit like David said. I think with 1-0 that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Whether you get there or not is a different matter, but at least you have that option to try and push if you want to, rather than being 2-0 down and going home. It's a long way back. So I think Simone will be happy with that. He won't be happy that he lost, but he would rather 1-0 than the possible 2-0 that it could have been. So he'll go away rubbing his hands thinking, right, we can get them at home.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because they're still in the game, but the more expansive they are at the start of the second leg, the more gaps they're going to leave and the more open they are to conceding more goals. So I think, like J-Mo, he'll probably start the game similar to he started this game. And then as it goes, just feel it. It's not a time. It's organic. You can feel where you're just maybe taking the wind out of their sails a little bit, and then he might start putting on his offensive players.
So what I found interesting, the shenanigans were going on towards the end of the game when they're 1-0 down, and if they were desperate to score, then they wouldn't have done that.
Of course not.
And it's almost like 1-0's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Simeone turned up here expecting to lose 1-0, but I think they realise at 1-0 they're more than well in this game if they take it back to Madrid. So I expect more of the same, 4-3.
So, sorry, you were saying
I'm going to watch some different videos.
It was 4-3 overall, wasn't
exactly,
it? Yeah, that's what you meant all along. 4-3 overall. I'll take that as long as we go through. I'll take that. So at this we want to call it the halfway point. Are we happy? at this halfway point?
Yeah. Listen, the one thing we've seen with City, they can beat teams 5-6. But like I keep going back to the Chelsea games when they beat them 1-0. The best performances I've seen this season. 1-0 is enough. You know, you don't have to score 5 to 6 in any knockout game in the Champions League to be champions. It's just about getting through. And what we saw today was a dominant performance. Edison with one half save, I think, from Llorente. I don't know if it was a shot. Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, if I'm him, he kicked the ball over the halfway line once.
And that's Pep controlling
He was
the game.
on the edge of the centre circle, by the way.
That's Pep's team controlling the game. And, you know, there's a couple of things, I think there's key couple of things that he got from that game. We realise now how quick Llorente is. So maybe Cancelo won't play left-back in the next leg, because if he does, he might be open for them to get down their right-hand side. And two, we know how smart João Cancelo is. You know, he's shown a few pieces of class there, won a few free kicks. So, you know, if the ball's going into him with good quality, make sure you just stand off, concede that, and defend from goal side.
There was a moment in the first half when João Cancelo did something right on the byline, and it was like the little bit of skill. Like, my heart was in my mouth, but he just looked calm as anything. Beautiful, lovely. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Right, we're going to have a look now and go back over the clues for who's stat and reveal to you who the former or current player is. So we're going to have a little look again at the clues. So, who's stat? So, clue 1 was, of course, this player made 11 league appearances in City's 2012 title-winning season. Clue 2 was, this player has won his country's Player of the Year title 5 times in the last 6 years. And clue 3, this player has made over 200 appearances for tonight's opponent. So, David, did you think you had it immediately?
Oh, I'll tell you what, this was a savage one.
Okay. Who knows? Who knows it? Who's having it?
He's just told you.
He said it. He said it in the sentence. That's why we're laughing.
I missed it.
It was savage clues.
I still don't get it.
You obviously don't know who he is then. Savage.
Oh! Oh, goodness me, crikey. That went right over me. You said Savage. I was thinking Savage. Savage, like Bobby Savage.
All in the pronunciation. And as you can see, that's part of Man City's help towards the environment. They made the shorts smaller. Save on material.
Thank you. Did you all have it? Was I the only one that was slow today?
I think the second clue was the one where he won 5 National Player of the Years, and we thought, well, it must be either a massive player or a small player in a country, or a big player in a country that is not very successful in football.
Lovely. Well done to the three of you. You got it and I didn't.
Great teamwork.
So, on Sunday, there is a big game taking place at the Etihad Stadium as City take on Liverpool in the Premier League. Of course, we are top of the league and Liverpool currently sit second. It is a huge game. I cannot wait. I feel relatively calm, to be honest. David, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I just think the way... When this season for Man City, I think when they've needed to step up, and the Crystal Palace game, which I was at the other week, pitch was horrendous. You saw Arsenal last night, or whoever saw Arsenal last night, getting turned over because teams like City and Arsenal, who like to play the ball, can't play on that surface. Here, as we saw tonight, the guys like this surface. And I just think that City will rise, and yeah, I'm going for City on this one.
Is it as big as a Premier League decider as it is being said, Trevor?
I think so. I think, listen, Manchester City can afford not to lose, whereas I think Liverpool need to win. Because I don't see Manchester City losing to anybody else. But if they win this game, I really think it's in the bag. I think they won't lose it again because they're in a position where they've dropped points and they're in a position where they should have been controlling this league a little bit better. But this is the Premier League, so competitive. But I do feel that City have got the game plan, as long as they don't get carried away or excited by the occasion. But that's what Liverpool want to bring to the table. They want to make it exciting. They want to bring the away fans. They want to make it a one-off kind of cup game. And if we control it, be patient, like we were talking today in the game where, you know, we won the ball back, we were going up the pitch and go for the jugular. Pep doesn't want that. He wants to control the game, have it all in our control. And I think if it's all in our control like that and we keep the ball and play our possession-based game, stick to our principles, we've probably got enough to win the game.
It was a brilliant game at Anfield earlier in the season as well, Shaun. It was a draw, obviously, but I've just felt we played just fantastic that day. And we've had some really great games against Liverpool over the years, so we're expecting the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be another cracking game, I think. I would say it's going to be a draw again, although I'm hoping City win. I think Liverpool give up a lot of chances, and I think against the calibre of players that we hold here at the club, if you keep giving those sort of chances away, eventually Alisson won't be able to stop them all, as good as he is. But for me, in general, I'm actually looking forward to it, and it's intriguing me who is actually going to be in the front three, to be honest.
I think it's interesting to see like how Kyle Walker does against Diaz, Lewis on that side, because obviously they've never played against each other in the Premier League, so that'll be an interesting matchup because that's one new addition that Liverpool have got on their left-hand side if he does play. Obviously Jota's playing well. They've got a lot of options now going forward. But I just think it's going to be a great game, great spectacle, not just for Manchester City fans and Liverpool fans, but for the whole Premier League.
Who do you think is going to play up front for us?
I think it's going to start the way it finished today, personally.
I think Foden will play because he's a mank. He feels it. You know, it's in him. And I think he played really well at Anfield. You know, it was unbelievable. And the fact that he feels the emotion of the fans. He's one of the fans. I think he will play, and I think Pep will tap into that. He'll tap into that emotion. You know, go out there and showcase what you've got. Again, you know, Kevin De Bruyne is not going to be missed. He'll be playing in that game. But I think that just the history that we've got over the last 5-10 years. There's a lot of history there, and a lot of our players have still got that history and a few open wounds.
Bernardo Silva, for me, sorry, David, is an honorary mank. Bernardo Silva gets it, right? You all know what I'm talking about straight away. I'm expecting a big game from Bernardo Silva.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the starting lineup from tonight, and I think that, like Trev says, Foden comes in. I think Mahrez drops out. I think Sterling starts because, again, from what we said before, beginning of the show, it's his game. I think there was always this question mark over Raheem Sterling playing against his old side. There was a question mark created.
I don't know if that should happen. Gomez is playing right back. That could be absolutely carnage because there's obviously things have gone on in the past.
Yeah, but I think and again we're starting to see what the real Raheem is, and that therefore this is the game for him. And Jack Grealish even. This is. People say 100 million, you know, all that stuff, but I think Jack Grealish is showing why Pep bought him now.
And just looking at that as well, Joe Gomez, he's a centre half. He's playing right back. Obviously, Trent's out. He won't want to be in them wide areas.
I think Trent's back.
Trent's back.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
Trent's back.
Because they won't have a right back then.
I'm just looking at that there, and it's who do you take out for the likes of Foden, for the likes of Grealish?
Well, the boys earn it. They've got the game, obviously, coming up. So they play for the position, but also they've got the FA Cup semi-final coming up as well. So everyone's competition for places. Play well, man, and keep your place.
These are the games as fans that we live for. These are the games that you just want to be involved in. And we're lucky, Shaun, that we've been in quite a few games of this stature over the years. We understand what it's like to have to win a game, to know that you've got to win a game to carry on and chase that dream of the Premier League. Obviously, Liverpool haven't done it in the way that we've done it. So does that go to our advantage that we have experienced this before?
I think the experience will play a massive factor in the game for sure. But I think with Liverpool's professionalism, I think they will go about the job how they go about every other game. I think they'll play the same way. They'll try and use their fullbacks to create pretty much all the chances, apart from when Salah and whoever plays on the left link up. And if Bobby plays or Jota plays, you know what they're going to give you and what type of plays they make. So I think they will approach it the same way. They won't be as experienced as, say, us lot in this situation, but I think they will know how to handle it.
Will the players be raring to go, Trevor?
Yeah, I think everyone accepts that Manchester City and Liverpool are streets ahead of the rest of the Premier League, and that shows in the points tally, shows in the quality that the consistency that they've shown over the last 3-4 years. I don't think anyone's coming anywhere near either team, and I think there'll be a lot of respect out there, but also there'll be a lot of willingness to win and to run and to hurt and suffer to win this game. And yeah, both sets of players are going to leave everything out there. I just believe that Manchester City's philosophy overall and the principles in which they play supersedes Liverpool's.
Can I push you for a score prediction, David?
1-0. I'm sorry, while you're talking, I'm just thinking of what's happening in the changing room right now, because you said that they're looking forward to the game. No, I just want it to be, as soon as they came in, how did Liverpool get on?
Okay.
Because they're...
Why do you think that matters to them?
Yeah, because it's one of those things that when we talk about the passion about the big game, you want the players to feel the same thing. And therefore, it's kind of like, well, Liverpool playing tonight the same as us. We're playing them on the weekend. How did they get on? And without even knowing what Liverpool are going to be feeling, you want them to be feeling frustrated. Yeah, 2-1 away for Liverpool. Right, it's a great... They've won the game, but it's 2-1. That means
3-1.
Was it 3-1 in the end?
3-1.
That shows the dynamics of that conversation, isn't it? A little bit.
Well,
3-1.
Okay.
Well, they couldn't change their shape and rest players after 60 minutes. That's the biggest point. I think that's what we were saying.
But they conceded a goal. Yeah.
So what do you think?
He always finds a positives, doesn't he?
He's great at it. If the players hear that Liverpool have won 3-1, then what do they think?
Well, this is it. I mean, it's the idea of how did Liverpool get on, and then for whatever reason you're thinking, right, they've conceded a goal. What was the scoreline? 2-1, 3-1. Maybe Benfica were pushing in the last minute and Liverpool counter-attacked to make it 3-1. Was it a comfortable 3-1? And you start asking these questions because you've got to play against them on the weekend, and you're just hoping that for some reason they're not going to be in a happy mood. Frustrated team is the best team to play against because then they lose their, like Trev says, they've got a plan. Well, Man City's plan is the same all the time. Sometimes it frustrates Man City fans and us watching them because you think do something different. But keeps them top of the league, keeps them an opportunity to have a treble this season. And that's the plan that will beat a frustrated Liverpool if they're frustrated. It's going to be a cracking game one way or the other.
It is going to be a cracking game. Can't wait for it. Thank you very much, David James, Trevor Sinclair, Shaun, Wright-Phillips. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. So it is a 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, the 10th of April. Will it be a title decider? We'll find out. Matchday Live starts at 3:25. Kel Spellman is your host. And guests in the studio, will be some special guests in the studio with him. Andy Morrison will be on the co-coms as well, with Alistair Mann as well. Best commentary around, honestly, on that game as well. That is the only place that you want to be getting your commentary. So thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. All eyes on Sunday as we welcome Liverpool.
Here comes the Premier League's deluxe, first-class, five-star fixture. The rivalry of our day.
What a game, ups and downs, highs and lows. And that's why these both teams, the last years, they were fighting to win the Premier League.
The two sides who've won the league in the last few seasons. Oh, what a finish! Absolutely brilliant from City.
The toughest opponent I ever faced in my 12-13 career as a manager.
It's great to play, you know, with the fans and the atmosphere. It's a game that every footballer wants to play in.
Two exceptional football teams about to go head-to-head.
Nights when the champions have put the challengers in their place.
De Bruyne! Gem of a goal in a gem of a game!
Massive game. The world is watching.
As close to Premier League perfection as you can imagine. It doesn't get any better than this.